So, where'd you grow up? Where'd you start out?
I'm from Goshen, Indiana, which is in northern Indiana. And the one thing, it's quite a community. Well, John Fogerty got married in Elkhart, which is about 10 miles
Yeah.
next to our town. But it's quite a little musical community there. Selmer Band Instruments is there, and Crown amplifiers from the early days of rock, which were the icon of power amps. Uh, they were there, and there was a pretty nice little music scene there. And so that's how I got started. And I'd go up to Chicago and listen to the blues up on Maxwell Street and some other places there. And we heard, Otis Rush was there playing and blah. And when you mention things, and a lot of things come into my mind. My dad, and one thing I never forgot was this started the love for the curiosity and love for the blues because I wasn't that old. This was back in the later 50s, but he took me up there, and we had time in between. We were on a train. He took me down to Maxwell Street, and he was looking. It's all black community and neighborhood, and he went into the pawn shop. Outside the pawn shop is a guy with a guitar, sitting and playing, sitting on his amplifier, and people are putting a dime in or a quarter and stuff like that. And
Yep.
I was just from the cornfields of a little town, I don't know. So this was quite, I never forgot that. But I never forgot that my dad took me there, and showed me all these things. And my dad loved music also and sang and always sang in choirs and stuff. So that's how I got my start.
And then listening to music as a kid, what types of music were you listening to or hearing on the radio?
Well, I have to thank my older brother because he brought home a Bo Diddley album, the first Bo Diddley album. And, I don't know anything, but I heard that and that really, then he brought home a Jimmy Reed album and I really liked that, all this sort of Chicago stuff. And so that was there pretty early on. And then, of course, Elvis, Don't Be Cruel. And that was like my first favorite thing I think I ever. And Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel, and that kind of stuff. And all the Jerry Lee Lewis, that early rock stuff that was really Breathless and Great
Yeah.
Balls of Fire and all that kind of. Which is really close to, it's emotional. It has that
Connection.
yeah, it has connection right back on down the chain there to blues. It's just
Yeah.
one sort of integrated step up. But they were all playing together. That's the thing I learned later that I didn't know that. Like BB King said too, or many of them said there was no color line between musicians. There were, we taught each other, they learned from each other, and so on and so forth. So I always liked that too.